Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Have you ever tucked away a small token in your pocket, something that brings comfort or hope or anticipation? Perhaps it was a note, lucky charm, or even a photo. I want to share a poem entitled In His Pocket, written by our dear colleague, Rabbi Hannah Yerushalmi, after the first group of hostages was freed following 49 days in captivity. And this event evoked a complex array of emotions within every community. Rabbi Yerushalmi opens with the timeless guidance of the sages who counseled how to maintain balance and perspective in life. The poem reads, "The rabbis advised, keep two truths in your pocket. One should read, I am but dust and ashes, and the other should read, the entire world was created for me." An 8-year-old carries something different in his pocket, confetti. When asked why, he says it's his emergency confetti. During these raw and uncertain days, he keeps it with him everywhere, just in case there is good news to celebrate. Emergency confetti, just in case. This poem of an 8-year-old and his emergency confetti is a gentle reminder that even when times are tough, we all long for moments of joy. And what would it look like for each of us to welcome joy, to actively prepare for its arrival, to carry our own emergency confetti ready to celebrate the bright spots that emerge, no matter how small? How many of us live with that anticipation of joy? On Tuesday evening, we marked Rosh Chodesh Adar, the beginning of the new month of Adar. Tradition teaches Misha Nichnas Adar Marbim Basimcha. When the month of Adar arrives, joy increases. And the most apparent reason is that Purim, celebrated in the month of Adar, embodies pure joy, born from the reversal of a dire fate threatening the Jewish community. As a result, everything connected with Purim and the entire month is infused with delight. This tradition reminds us that even the darkest days can surprise us and can give rise to joy. And more than that, we are encouraged to expect it. Our ancestors taught us to navigate our way to joy in our foundational text, the Torah. As Samir read this morning, our Torah portion, Terumah, instructs that everyone whose heart is so moved, kol nadiv libo, is invited to bring a gift to the sanctuary. The word terumah means offering and comes from the root meaning to elevate. Originally, it described the act of lifting up what was being offered. Rabbi Levi Yitzchak of Berdichev teaches that this act of giving with one's heart not only elevates the offering, but also lifts the giver's spirit to a higher spiritual level. For our ancestors, the sanctuary was constructed primarily through generosity of spirit. In the wilderness, surrounded by uncertainty, they created intentional beauty through their gifts, which lifted their spirits in turn. A people once forced to make bricks for Pharaoh, as Samir said, were now invited to create a sacred space with their own hands, the very same hands once compelled to shape bricks, now found new purpose and meaning. This is sacred resistance. Giving with an open heart allows us to reclaim something essential within ourselves. Though our ancestors came from oppression and never forgot its lessons, they refused to be crushed by their past or let it obscure their future. Picture the joy and anticipation they felt as their gifts, whether gold, silver, lapis, dyed yarns, or their own skills as carpenters, artists, and weavers began to take shape. Every gift became a reflection of the giver's renewed spirit. In fact, a confetti moment, a moment transformed into sacred joy. As Samir taught us, the ancient tabernacle was portable, moving with the people through every uncertain landscape. And so too sacred joy. Joy in this context is not denial, it's not escapism, but a refusal to let others define our reality going forward. In Adar, the powerful example of this comes to us directly from Megillat Esther, the book of Esther. When Haman set out to wipe out the Jewish people, Queen Esther courageously revealed her identity to King Ahasuerus and advocated for her people. Instead of disaster, everything flipped. The murderous threat to the Jews was canceled, and Haman was defeated. And the day that was supposed to mark their destruction became a day of celebration and freedom. This is a story of joy born from courage. When things feel scary or uncertain, joy can break through if we find the courage to take action. In times of political rancor and social fracture, as ancient as the Megillah and as real as today's headlines, despair can feel like the most honest response. But despair concedes too much. Teruma, coupled with the spirit of Purim, teaches otherwise. Instead of throwing hands up in despair, it can be a time to show up with hands ready to help. Like the multiplicity of hands that came together to build that tabernacle, our engagement in a larger effort can move us from fear to strengthening our bonds with each other, reminding us that even in instability and upheaval, Teruma teaches us we can build. Even in difficult times, we can anticipate joy. So here's another more contemporary lesson derived from recent Olympic events. If you've been following the Israeli bobsled team, you'll know that just before the games began, the team's apartment was robbed, resulting in the theft of equipment, passports, and personal belongings. And additionally, as the Israeli delegation made their entrance into the opening ceremonies, many in the crowd booed them. And then during one of their Olympic events, a Swiss commentator delivered an extended on-air anti-Israel monologue. And to add to all that, the two-man bobsled team finished in last place. And for most of us, coming in last usually isn't associated with a positive outlook, and yet the Israeli bobsled team disagreed. The team pilot, A.J. Edelman, said, "Israel is in the Olympics, baby. We did something incredible, unbelievable in this sport. We did it by ourselves, piecing it together. What we accomplished today, some kid is going to see in 10 or 15 or 20 years, and he's going to be inspired by that and start his own journey." And think of this. The difference between first and last place was 7 seconds. The difference between disappointment and celebration was in choosing joy. Instead of being overcome by circumstances, they were ready with confetti. By refusing to succumb to despair, they used joy as a kind of resistance. They inspire us to consider how we greet each day. And here I have a different example to share with you. The refusal to surrender joy, even in difficult times, comes in many forms. A few weeks ago, a front page article was accompanied by a vibrant photo of a man dressed in pajamas, making a snow angel on his terrace. The caption read something like this: "A man with advanced cancer makes the most of every day." The picture said it all. I mean, who gives themselves permission to live with such abandoned joy? For the reader, the lesson is that even in our darker moments, we don't need to wait to take hold of the joy that is within reach, to embrace the moment and steer it toward enjoyment. Our pajama-clad friend immersed himself in the heavy snowflakes to joyously make his mark, fleeting as it was. Life is not always the journey we had hoped for, and still the act of sacred resistance is to make the choice to live with sacred simcha. It need not, it should not take an event which rocks our world to embrace simple moments of joy. And so I invite you to ask yourself, what would it take for us to do the same, to keep our metaphoric confetti ready? As we reflect on the stories and traditions of this season, let us remember that joy is not merely a response to good fortune, but a conscious choice we make, even in the face of uncertainty and adversity. And whether we actually carry confetti in our pockets, offer gifts to build connection, or embrace moments of celebration when the world feels heavy, each gesture is a sacred form of resistance and a declaration of our commitment to find joy, large or small. As we journey forward, may our pockets and our hearts be ready to choose joy in this season and always. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be so.